Hello, hello.
Hello, everybody.
Welcome. I'm honestly am a little bamboozled right now because our live stream looks very weird out on the Twitter. So I'm a little concerned. Oh, I mean, you just have to. Oh, okay. It looks weird, people. So I'm going to pop over our YouTube link because Twitter looks a little weird. So don't you worry. We will give you the experience that you guys deserve. So don't worry. But again, Twitter looks a little wonky. So I'm going to go ahead and pop over that YouTube link in just a little bit. But sorry for that awful introduction. I'll give you guys a better one. Welcome to the Real Football Fans of New Jersey. Thank you so much for joining us. I am Caitlin. This is Katie, and we are here to give you the best of the best football, housewives, wine, life, fall content that you can get this week. We are moving into week 5 of the NFL. We are moving into a time where Housewives franchises, they're premiering, they're debuting. We've got some good stuff going on there as well. And we are in the fall season. We are in the spooky season. So Katie and I are just living our best lives. I mean, my wine glass says brooms down, bottoms up. It is a witch, and I'm drinking red tonight because I'm kind of getting that like fall, kind of maybe it's like blood vibe. So definitely very, very excited to give you guys this episode. It is episode 223. So thank you again for tuning in. We asked you guys for questions tonight. We looked at a bunch of them. We pulled out some, and there was actually a little comment we got too, not just a question. So let's start here. So with the Giants still rebuilding, do they trade Saquon at or before the trade deadline or pay him?
This is a twofer of what I think they should do versus what I think the Giants will actually do. I think, and this is nothing again, this is strictly taking emotions out of it and thinking of it as a business, which they do in the NFL. They're like, don't care, like, this is a business. I think that with how well I wanted them to trade Saquon the last 2 years, and he's had the injury bug, so maybe not his full, being super desirable for other teams to grab him. He's healthy right now, knock on wood. I have wood in front of me. I'm knocking on wood. And he has obviously been playing really, really well. He is the top rusher in the league right now through 4 weeks, is looking like the old Saquon, who was drafted number 2 in the NFL draft. I feel like he would be very enticing for people, for other teams to have on their team. And I would say, let's trade him. We still need so many pieces. I swear to God, no matter how many offensive linemen we draft, I still think we need more.
We need more. All of them.
I would like a veteran presence on the offensive line. We still need weapons. Obviously, all of our wide receivers are out for the count now. So we need help. There are still pieces that we are missing. I would trade Saquon. Do I think the Giants are going to? No. I think they're almost going to look at it as opposite of what I just said and put their emotions into it. And I feel like they think Saquon, and he is the face of the franchise. He's a good kid. He's a good leader, and you got to love that about him. And now he's playing up to what they all expected from him. So I think they're just going to be happy with that and want to keep rolling with him. But I'm open to trading.
Yeah, I don't think I particularly like everything that you just like laid out right there. Like we don't have wide receivers. Our line still is like I could take all of the linemen in the NFL probably and maybe not be pleased. I don't know what it is. You put him in a Giants uniform and maybe not the craziest things happen. I just think with where we are right now, Saquon has proved himself over the last 4 games that he is back and that and I know we're rebuilding. I actually think he fits into our rebuild if he's playing at the stature that he's playing at right now. So you think of guys like, Sterling Shepard, who's done for the season and probably done it as a Giant. Was our 10-year player. We don't have like legacy people. Saquon, is probably that next guy up. And I'm with you that before the season, I was right next to you. Let's see what we can get for him, things like that. I just don't think I'm at that point now. If you want to go with what all the cool kids say, that they say he's him. He's the guy. Like, I think that I think he's really has proven himself over 4 weeks. So I'm not open to trading him right now because I don't know what we're going to possibly get for him. And I'm not sure if that's going to be better for us. All I know right now is that he's good in this current position. So
yeah, I just think that if they are interested in trading him, I think this is the peak time. Like I think this is the best.
Right.
And like this looks really good, and he's looking really attractive as a trade package right now. So like would I love to keep him and have him on the team? He's been like the whole entire offense. Yeah, but I just think that if they have any interest whatsoever, like this is the time. This is the most attractive a trade is going to look for Saquon Barkley and get something really good in return.
All right. So going into week 5, who is, I guess, like now your favorite to win the NFC North? And maybe it stays the same from what we've said. So,
yeah. So NFC North is Green Bay, Minnesota, Chicago, and Detroit. I mean, it's still Green Bay. I know that they've looked like weird.
Yeah.
I feel like this is every year when Aaron Rodgers is telling everyone to relax, and Green Bay is either barely beating teams that they should be killing, or maybe they have a weird loss here or there in the beginning of the year. They're still going to win the division. They're still going to be in the playoffs. I still think that we'll never see Aaron Rodgers in the Super Bowl ever. No. I stand by that. That I stand by. But it's still the Packers division to win.
Yeah, I agree with you on that one. I think, maybe this question is coming up from who the runner up will be or who's going to contend with them the most. And we kind of asked. Yeah, we asked ourselves that going into the season as well. I don't know. I would love to see Detroit come in there and kind of contend a little bit more. But yeah, Minnesota, I think they've had, their peaks. I think they're also kind of what we said in the past. They're kind of inching towards another sketchy season, in my opinion. Yeah. So, but we'll see for that. But yeah, I think as is right now, it's still Green Bay.
Yeah.
And then just not a question, but a funny comment I did on our Instagram post. Katie and I took a ton of pics at the game last week. We were so happy to be back. Just posted a picture of the two of us right outside MetLife Stadium before going in. So just a comment that it was a great picture. I think I did already post it on Twitter, but I can post it again. I'll post it on our Instagram coming into this weekend. Make sure you guys can see it, but it is on my Instagram right now. So I just thought we feel the love, guys. Thank you so much.
Yeah, and you know what? That was a whiteout. It was a whiteout game, and we were scrambling for white Giants clothes. Apparently,
we don't own white.
All the gear that we have, and it's none of it was like white. So I was rocking a JPP jersey, who is with Baltimore now, wearing number 4, which is really strange.
Right.
But you got to go with what you got to go with. So Giants, let's do a blue out next time. I think
seriously
we'll with that.
I even have I have a red shirt. I think I don't have a red jersey. I know you have a red jersey. I don't have a red jersey. I can borrow my mom's, but the one you have. I literally have a shirt that's like red, it's like basically all red and then a little bit of blue. So I even have that. So I don't even know.
I don't know.
But yeah, so those are our questions. Thank you guys so much. I did pop over the YouTube link on Twitter. For some reason, you can watch Twitter, but it's like taking you to a separate link. I don't like that experience for you guys. Hop on over to YouTube, ask us questions. We're also live on Facebook. But yep, we're here to talk to you guys throughout the episode. But don't worry, even though Twitter gets wonky, this will still be a podcast in the next 24 hours. So don't you worry.
Yes. So let's get into our big stories of the week in the world of football. And unfortunately, this is becoming a weekly story for us here.
I don't like it.
In New Jersey. We are giving you an NFL injury roundup. This first one is obviously super controversial. But during Thursday Night Football, Miami quarterback Tua Tagovailoa was taken to the hospital during the game for head and neck injuries. He did suffer a concussion in the team's 27-15 loss to Cincinnati. Reason it was so controversial is because he was cleared to play in that game just a few days after showing instability in their week 3 game against Buffalo. He took a hit in Buffalo. He got up. He kind of wobbled down. He got up again. It was very wobbly. Told everybody it was a back injury, went to the sideline, was checked for 5 seconds. And then I guess told his coaches, it's my back, like whatever, was brought back into that week 3 game and then was cleared to play in week 4 on a short week, playing Thursday night football. Went in, obviously suffered a concussion. If that was not in fact his back in week 3 and that was a concussion, that's 2 concussions within like a 5-day span. That's horrific. Everybody was obviously extremely disturbed on Thursday night football, seeing him go down. When he did go down, he lost consciousness, like his fingers like locked up, tensed up. It is like a medical thing that can happen when you're unconscious. That was obviously very scary. It just freaked everybody out. Everybody was obviously extremely concerned for Tua and very upset that he was allowed to even play in that game. Right. So the unaffiliated neurotrauma consultant involved in clearing him was fired after it was found that he made several mistakes in his evaluation of Tua after that week 3 game. Tua is already not going to be playing in week 5 versus the Jets. He's still in concussion protocol. The NFL and the NFLPA are working to modify concussion protocols in which anytime any player demonstrates any instability, they are not allowed to return to the game.
Right.
So, Caitlin, why don't you give some thoughts? Obviously, I know Tua is your guy. You're an Alabama fan, and he's one of your all-time faves. So tell the people what that was like and your thoughts and your feelings on it.
Katie, this was tough. I will not lie to you. I was on the couch in tears. It was a very, very frightening scene to see. And I got to tell you, like, I feel bad because like I want to put out like my ignorance of me believing that he did have a back injury and that he could play in this game. But is it me being ignorant or is it me trusting these medical professionals for these players that are playing a really dangerous game? And the NFL ensures us constantly that they're making the game safer. They're trying to do they're putting these processes in place. They're making the helmets better. They're making, the restrictions on their pads, what they have to wear, everything like that.
They can't hit a player helmet to helmet.
Absolutely. Everything these days is roughing the passer. You touch the quarterback on the shoulder, it's roughing the passer. So I call myself ignorant, but actually maybe I'm not being that ignorant for trusting someone that the Miami Dolphins and the NFL probably had to clear to put in, the job to protect the players on that team. So it was so awful to see. Tua is a strong kid. We've seen him come back from injury, not only from college to the NFL, but being banged up a little bit in the NFL. We've seen him come back from it and be absolutely outstanding. So he is tough. My only request here is that, yes, Miami did clearly, and the NFL made decisions to, get rid of this medical professional. But, Tua, you really need to reach out to your family, to people outside of the organization and get more opinions. I know these players think they're tough as nails and they'll go in. I know, Katie, we were texting about it, that they'll do anything. Like, I got to win. Like, put me in. Like, I don't care. Yeah. Like, you really need to seek out, just kind of people who are going to have your best interests in mind, even when in your mind, the best interest is winning the game, because this isn't a leg, an arm. This is your head. You don't get more than one brain. You cannot get a brain transplant. You cannot live without your brain. So it was so awful to see. And, for Tua being one of my favorite players, there was some tears shed, and it was something I was glued to. I don't stay up like for these games. I go to bed. I was glued to my phone until the end of the game, and then maybe an hour or two later just to see if there was an update. Right. And I did see he obviously left the hospital, and I was grateful. There's definitely some post-game things too that I question. I don't know why he was allowed on an airplane. That's like one of the biggest no-nos. Like, you can't fly with a concussion. I don't know why that was allowed either. I just really hope that he's even questionable for the next 2 weeks, next 3 weeks, things like that. So, it was tough. It was tough. So it's not, you never want to see any player succumb to something like that, but it's really hard when you're watching, some of your favorite players. So.
Yeah, we wish him well.
Absolutely.
I'm happy to see that he's out for week 5. Obviously,
Yeah.
yes, you want to see him be able to get out there and compete and everything like that. But obviously, what we all witnessed and what we all saw was extremely concerning. And this is a hard lesson that somebody had to be sacrificed that way
Yeah.
to even extend and further like making better rules
Right.
for players to be safe. But hopefully we never have to see anything like that ever again, because it was disgusting in my opinion. Like it was atrocious to see something like that happen.
It was. And real quick, I know we've got a lot to get to. But Katie, you brought up a really good point through text message when we were talking. And then also I saw it on, I think it was Get Up. I saw it in the, I think it was Ryan Clark who brought up the comment. You had said your children will not play football. And Ryan Clark had said, and I think it was Ryan Clark, so anyone can, please come at me. And if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. Basically said, we're in a situation now where, young people are watching, young parents are watching this, and they are making the decision. No, my child will not play football based off of this, based off of other things. So he had said, is the future of the NFL in grave danger? And yes, it is.
I have heard NFL fans, I've heard football fans say that I think in however many years from now, there will not be an NFL.
There will not be an NFL. And yes, and I think it's situations like this that are so avoidable. And again, we taught the NFL boasts about everything that they're doing to make it safer, everything they're putting into place. Like I had just said, but I'm going to say it again. But then this stuff happens. This isn't something that just slipped through the cracks by accidents, because accidents happen. Accidents happen no matter what you're doing. You wake up in the morning, you could trip and fall in your house. Accidents happen. But like this was so avoidable. And, when you had texted me that
doctors don't have room for error.
They really don't. They really don't.
I know accidents happen, but doctors don't have room for error.
No, of course not. So this is not an accident that should have happened. This is something that was so avoidable. So Katie, you are 100% correct in your mindset of already knowing that your future children will not play the sport. And for someone that had played to come on national TV 2 days later and say, listen, like the NFL could be done for if shit like this keeps happening, or it could be done for just because this happened. So I know it wasn't on the agenda to talk about, but I thought it just, it was definitely, I think it's a lot top of mind for a lot of people right now.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. Well, obviously, this is the injury roundup, so we have more injuries to report. This one was upsetting for a guy who was, having a good year, a sophomore season, had a really good rookie year. But we do have Denver running back Javonte Williams tore his ACL and LCL and will miss the rest of the season. That is a huge loss for Denver. Also for Denver, defensive end Randy Gregory will be sidelined anywhere from 2 to 6 weeks after having arthroscopic knee surgery. And then Atlanta running back Cordarrelle Patterson has been placed on IR due to a knee injury.
Yeah.
He'll be out at least 4 games. It's a big loss for Atlanta as well. He's definitely a huge part of that offense. And then this isn't like a long-term injury, but just so you guys are aware, if you do play fantasy football, obviously we all know you guys drafted him. So Jonathan Taylor, running back for the Indianapolis Colts, he will not be playing in tomorrow night's primetime game. He does have an ankle injury. I don't think it's hugely serious, but it is a short week for them, and he will be missing the game tomorrow night. So just note that and keep that in mind.
So apparently Jonathan Taylor has not missed a single practice or game since high school up until last week when he missed practice. I know we Jersey strong people. But I thought when that came out last week that was the first time he was missing even a practice. I was like, wow, this kid he's something special. So it's again, I'm sure he'll be back, but give the kid the rest. I think he needs it. But all right, so let's get into our week 4 thoughts. And oh my God, you think every week the season's weird, but it gets weirder week after week. So what a 2020 season we've had so far.
Yeah.
And to start off with this one, New Orleans kicker Will Lutz, the unfortunate double doink came in London. He attempted a 61-yard game-tying field goal, and they ended up losing to Minnesota 28-25. And oh my God, it was one of those where you were at the TV and I swear I was like, he made it. We're going into overtime. Like, I hope it's over before the 1 o'clock game starts.
Well, they were celebrating on the Saints bench. At first they thought he made it. So
it was like right at the last second. It was like perfect. And it was like, nah, I'm sorry. The London air said absolutely not. And it didn't even, that slow-mo video of it, it totally could have felt like fallen into the, and it didn't. But that cursed double doink, it was, and just to end the game that way was
that's a nightmare. That's
a wild
for a team.
So that kicked off our Sunday morning for everyone. Pittsburgh quarterback Mitch Trubisky was, I think some people might say, finally benched in favor of rookie Kenny Pickett. The team did lose to the New York Jets 24-20. And then, Kenny Pickett, his first pass of his NFL career was a pick. So
I know see it at first, and then Caitlin, I know you told me about it. I caught the replay on Red Zone, and what I do want to say is, I don't think let's put it out there too that it was a tipped pass.
Oh yeah, of course.
It wasn't a bad throw. It wasn't like, oh, stupid rookie coming in and making like that awful pick. He actually launched it down the field, and I really liked the guts and the mindset to come in and just be like, here I am, and like launch it down the field. It was tipped. It was picked off. But Kenny Pickett throwing a pick with his first throw, but they are going on with him. Pittsburgh has said that they're going to continue with him. He is going to be the starter now. So.
Well, I think we said 6 games, over under 6 games. So we're going into week 5.
Well, I really don't remember if I put a timeline on it, but
I think it was 6. I think it was 6 games, to be honest. Yeah, but listen, we're right in that area. So whatever you guys said, whatever we said, we're all in the general vicinity.
We knew it was going to happen at some point. So
right. All right, so let's talk about Buffalo. After trailing 20-3 late in the second, they had their largest comeback since 2011. They beat Baltimore 23-20. So wow, Baltimore is a really good team. You just can't. You got it every quarter for what I've learned. I mean, it's NFL knowledge in general, but in these past 4 weeks, you need to score every quarter, do something. You've got to put points on the board because we are seeing teams that are just leaving out a quarter of scoring, and it's really coming back to bite them in the ass. For this one, Baltimore, you're leaving out a half of scoring. So
this is a huge heartbreaker for Baltimore, because if you win this game, not only are you beating one of, if not maybe the best team in the NFL right now in the Buffalo Bills, but you lose it in heartbreaking fashion. Now you turn around and you go to Sunday Night Football, division game against a good Cincinnati Bengals team. So it's like, if they had the momentum of beating Buffalo going into that would have been great. But if they end up losing this Sunday Night Football game, it's going to be serious double heartbreak, like back to back. So not a good loss there for the Ravens.
Yep. All right. So what a wild game we had between New England and Green Bay, because New England had their backup rookie quarterback, Bailey Zapp. Is it Zapp? Zapely? Zapely. He did force overtime with the New England Patriots, but unfortunately they did lose 27-24. That was definitely, I was like all the way. I was like,
that was my lock pick, and I was really in danger of getting my lock pick wrong 2 weeks in a row. So Green Bay had me nervous there that I was going to look like an idiot. I still feel like an idiot because it shouldn't even have gone into overtime. But hats off to Bailey and New England and coming up with a game plan to almost beat Green Bay and Aaron Rodgers.
Well, absolutely. And we're going to do our picks soon. And that's why I kind of just, some games I'm like, whatever for, because you never know with this.
You never know.
friggin' season. And then finally, definitely pains both Katie and I to announce that the Philadelphia Eagles are now the only undefeated team. They have they won 29-21 over Jacksonville. Jacksonville came out strong. It was 14-0. I was holding on for dear life, and I was just like, come on. And no, they could not. And honestly, like, I think Philly's got a very winnable game this weekend. So I'm not mentally prepared to go to a 5-0 scenario, but it's got to break eventually. I don't think it's gonna last. But so those are our thoughts from week 4. And again, and that wasn't even the whole scheme of things. Another wild weekend in the NFL.
Yeah. Well, let's look ahead to week 5. 1 month of football under our belts. We're heading into week 5 now. The theme of our pick so far is no pick is safe. No. I actually did pretty well last week. I will pat myself on the back on that one. Hoping to do even better for week 5. But Caitlin, why don't you kick us off? Give us your week 5 picks plus your 1 lock and your 1 upset.
All right, going into Thursday night football, I'm going with Denver. Moving into London, we've got another London game this weekend, people. I'm going with the Giants on this one. They are brave. They are bold. They have no players, but somehow they're still doing things. And London's always a wonky one, so I'm going with the Giants. I'm going with Buffalo, the Chargers, Chicago, Detroit, New Orleans, the Jets, Atlanta, Tennessee, Jacksonville, the 49ers, the Rams, Philadelphia, unfortunately, Baltimore, and wrapping things up on Monday with Kansas City. My lock is the San Francisco 49ers over the Carolina Panthers. And my upset is the Atlanta Falcons over the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And if you want to throw the Giants in there over Green Bay too,
so
are they not an upset?
I heard like 3 upsets in your picks, by the way.
Well, I did. I know. I wanted to show the ones that I wanted to. That was the one I chose.
We had 5 different. I would definitely call your Giants over Green Bay.
Chicago is an upset.
I would definitely call Chicago.
Yeah.
You said the Jets over Miami.
Oh, yeah, that's
not in, but there's Teddy Bridgewater, and it is Miami. It's a good team. You could have had 5. You made like 5 upset picks throughout that.
You know what? Because I told you I went in this week, and
spicy.
I don't give up.
All right, we'll see if it pans out.
If I get a clean slate, like 100%, I'm just like, that'll be
amazing. That'll be amazing. We did have 5 different, so I will kick it off. Tomorrow night, I am going with Denver. And then moving into Sunday, I am going with Green Bay, Buffalo, the Chargers, Minnesota, Detroit, New Orleans, Miami, Tampa Bay, Tennessee, Houston, San Fran, the Rams, Philly, Baltimore, and Kansas City. My lock is going to be the Buffalo Bills over Kenny Pickett and the Steelers. And my upset is going to be the Houston Texans over the Jacksonville Jaguars.
I got to tell you, I think that might be a shitty game, like a really bad game,
So here's my theory with that game. Obviously, I think Houston is going to be one of the worst teams this year, and they have been one of the worst so far through 4 weeks. Every team, you could be the 32nd ranked team in the league. Every team's got to pick up a win somewhere. And to me, if Houston's going to pick up a win, it could easily be within the division against a team like Jacksonville. So I feel like this could be it. I have Dameon Pierce on my fantasy football team. I really like what he did, obviously, over the weekend. I think he's going to have another really big game for them. And this is where Houston is going to squeak one out.
Okay. Love it.
All righty.
So let's move into our big stories of the week for Housewives. And what we've got for you is just some quick hot topics, baby. So hold on to your seats because we've got a couple things here. So reports are out that Bravo is bringing back Vicky Gunvalson to Real Housewives of Orange County to shake up a slow season 17.
Like, that's the last thing we need is another franchise that's like off to, like, you know, doing shitty and not exciting anymore.
Yeah, but I was so upset to read this because I told you they came back and I was like, yeah, like I liked what. So now I'm like, shit, like they're like filming and I'm like, damn it, it's slow. But like who is judging that it's slow right now? I don't know.
Right.
So whatever.
I don't know.
So that's just like I was very upset to see this because I was really happy with last season. So Vicky was recently spotted grabbing lunch with Tamara and Shannon. I did see this picture because everyone was like, oh, the Tres Amigas are back. Yeah. So eyewitnesses said that Bravo cameras were rolling at the event. So clearly that is going to, well, maybe they might not air it, but that's what people are going to assume. Right. Orange County season 17 is set to return in early 2023. Just so everyone is aware, Vicky Gunvalson did depart in 2020. So almost 3 years later, she will come back on the franchise. So
it wouldn't surprise me, I think, to say like Bravo's bringing Vicky back.
Right.
I think you read those headlines and it sounds like one thing when in reality the most it could be is one scene and she's episode, having lunch with her friends.
I'm not surprised. She's friends with Tamara and she's friends with I think they left the last time she was on, they were friends. Mm-hmm. It's not surprising. Shannon struggled last season. She didn't have many friends because she was picking fights with everyone. Mm-hmm. So Tamara coming back is a friend of Shannon. So it just makes sense. You're right. It could literally be a scene, right? Because
we've seen Jill Zarin come on for a blip. We've seen Heather Thompson come on for a blip. Like, they're literally just tiny little scenes.
Yeah.
So at most, maybe they're bringing her back in a friend status. Maybe we'll see her in a couple episodes. But I think realistically, and at the least, we might just get like a lunch scene, and that's it.
Yeah. So don't get your hopes up, people. I mean, sure, I'd like her back. Why not? But we'll see.
Yeah.
All right, so filming for season 15 of Real Housewives of Atlanta reportedly started on Monday. All of the women from season 14 are returning, but they are being joined by newbie Janelle Steffens, I think, who is the founder of Camille Rose Naturals. It's unknown if Janelle will be a full-time cast member or a friend. And then rumors for this one is that Portia Williams is going to be returning, but she is not been approached yet. So I don't know about that one. So I mean, I think Portia leaving was a big deal. Obviously, she was one of the favorites, I think, in Atlanta. So, but
I don't think she's coming back. Listen, I mean, all these women are returning. You didn't even need to bring in a new person. And so I think obviously the rumors were swirling that maybe Portia was going to come back, and the fact that she hasn't been approached yet and everybody is returning, plus add a newbie to the mix, she's not coming.
Yeah. So, and if you already started filming, I don't know, it is what it is. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's only a couple days in, but. All right. And then last quick hot topic. Last week, Erica Jane and Tom Girardi's former Pasadena mansion officially sold for $7.5 million. The funds are going directly to Tom's victims, which is a good thing. The house originally hit the market in May of 2021 for $13 million and underwent several price reductions. The new buyers had to say under oath that they have no affiliation with Tom, his bankruptcy estate, or the bankruptcy trustee for the judge to sign off on the deal. So clearly a lot going into that. It's on the market with those types of things. You just have to make sure someone's just not doing you a favor and buying that house off of you. So clearly this person was just looking to buy a really nice freaking mansion. So
at a nice reduced price.
At a very, very well reduced price.
Good things come to those who wait. You didn't have to pay $13 million for it, only $7.5.
No, you got your money's worth. So good for you guys. Snaps for the people who bought it at a very reduced price. But yeah, so a lot of stuff going on, with Housewives. I'm, just some quick hot topics. Katie, I'm excited over the next week or so as we inch closer to BravoCon. I think we're going to hear more rumors of stuff. I hear I've already seen like some people, I think, like tease out things like you'll see more at BravoCon. I think Sonia and Luann posted something yesterday and they said like, we're excited to see you, but like we have stuff to tell you like that.
Yeah,
So, like,
I mean, I think that's a part of the appeal and the attraction to try and get people to buy tickets to BravoCon is that I do feel as though some of the things that we will hear and see that day are going to be heard and seen for the first time before anybody else. So I'm expecting to see trailers, see teasers, announcements possibly of new shows or shaking up the format of certain shows. And that is going to be definitely very exciting to share with all of you, since it really will be like insider information, us and however many other thousand people go to BravoCon, but still like think of the thousands and millions of people that are not attending BravoCon. We will be happy to report all of the dirty details that we hear while we are there.
Yes, so excited.
Yes. So let's move into our game for the night. This is a really good one. And I think we did it last year at this point in time too. With the first month of NFL under our belts, I can't even believe we're like already a month in. We are going to take a look at the top 5 players in some major stat categories, and then we're going to determine the following for each one as far as by season's end, which one of these players will not be in the top 5. By season's end, which one of these players has the best chance at finishing in the top spot. And then we're going to name one player not currently in that top 5 that will be by season's end. So this is always so interesting and fascinating to look at. We definitely have some wild cards that are thrown in here. I know we were laughing because like through 3 weeks, like our passing yard leaders were like Joe Flacco, and and it was like
he's not there anymore.
Nobody could have predicted these things. Now a month in, we do have some familiar faces. We do have some outliers, but it's good to just perfect reason to dissect them. So let's start with our quarterbacks. Let's start with our passing yard leaders, and 1 through 5 in order. This is who we got right now. Number 1 spot is the Chargers' Justin Herbert. At number 2, we have Buffalo's Josh Allen. Number 3, we have Detroit's Jared Goff. 4 is Indy's Matt Ryan. And 5 is Philly's Jalen Hurts. So first question being, Caitlin, you can go first. By season's end, which one of these players will not be in the top 5?
Yeah, I mean, I think you could probably look at 2 of these players and maybe like try to bump them out the top 5. But for me, you know, it's a team that really truly is working off their run game. I'm going to go with Indianapolis Colts, Matt Ryan. For me, it's a team that I don't know why they decided to go with him with quarterback. I really think they just need to rebuild at that position. And to me, I know Jonathan Taylor's out tomorrow night, but their game's on the ground. These numbers clearly prove otherwise, but their game is on the ground. And I just think, you know, as the weeks progress, we're going to see a little bit more from that. And just Matt Ryan for me just doesn't, you know, won't be in this top 5.
I went with Matt Ryan as well. I was kind of like dissecting him and Jared Goff.
That's what I was doing. Yeah.
But Detroit, whether they're running it or throwing it, like Jared Goff is 3rd right now in passing yards. Detroit has they have the most yards per game offensively. So Detroit is scoring points. They're putting up big numbers. They're getting a lot of, you know, chunk yardage there. So I think Jared Goff, I don't know if he'll end in the top 5, but if I have to boot one of these guys out that I definitely think will not be, I would go with Matt Ryan. So second part being by season's end, which one of these players has the best chance at finishing in the top spot?
I'm going to go with Josh Allen on this one. You know, we talk about it every week, you know, whether it's in our, we're just peeling back the layers of his stats and everything like that. I love when he runs the ball. I love when he passes it off, but I also love, you know, what he does with, you know, guys like Stephon Diggs. I just love absolutely that dynamic duo right there. And yeah, I got to see him moving into that number 1 spot.
I went with Josh Allen as well. So he's, you know, Justin Herbert was my pick for MVP before the season started. And I feel like, yes, he is number 1 in passing yards right now. But I just feel like Buffalo as a team and Josh Allen being the leader and quarterback of that team is just, he's kind of showcased more, I feel like. And he's making more of a run. Obviously, it's early, but more of a run at that MVP title and certainly finishing the year as the passing yards leader would certainly help that case. All right, and then last part, name one player not currently in the top 5 that will be by season's end.
I'm going to go with Patrick Mahomes. I think he showed us this past weekend that he's a man of many talents, and he does this kind of like weird Houdini shit every weekend, every time we watch him. So no matter what he's doing, taking it himself, passing he's so good. So I want to see him in the top 5. I want to see him. He will be in the top 5, I think. So.
Well, we're 3 for 3 on our answers for this first category. So
shocked.
I also went with Patrick Mahomes. He sits at number 6 right now in passing yards, just outside of the top 5. He has finished in the top 5 in the last 2 seasons, and I expect that he will do so for the 3rd year in a row.
Who's keeping track? Alrighty, 3 for 3.
All right, rushing yards. In first place right now, we have the Giants' Saquon Barkley. 2 is Cleveland's Nick Chubb. 3 is Philly's Miles Sanders. 4, Atlanta's Cordero Patterson. And 5, Las Vegas's Josh Jacobs. So, who do we think is not going to be in the top 5 by the end of the season?
Yeah, so I think just like off of like recent injury, you'll see like Cordell Patterson's going to miss 4 games. That might significantly impact his stats, I think. But I'm actually going to go with Josh Jacobs on this one. I really like Josh Jacobs. I've been speaking highly of him going into the season. I think what we've seen from him so far, though, is that he's either going to put up the numbers for you, or like the next 2-3 weeks, he's kind of be there and like not really do what maybe the team's going to go in on, Waller. Maybe they're going to, use, Devontae Adams, things like that. So that's kind of the guy, like I'm seeing Josh Jacobs right now. Like he can either put up monster numbers and like do a really good job, or we might see ghosts like for 3 weeks or something. So that's why I don't think Cordell Patterson's numbers might be too altered. When I'm looking at the 2 of them, they might be both bumped down in my opinion. But when I do look at them right now, I think Josh Jacobs might fall out of the top 5.
It's Cordero Patterson for me with an asterisk, and strictly because he's missing at least 4 games. So
yeah.
Thank you for this comment here at the bottom.
Yep. So, keep it killing it, ladies. Thank you as always. And Josh Jacobs will fall out in my opinion. So, but
I think both of our answers are going to fall out. But if one over the other, I'm going with Cordero literally just because of injury.
Yep.
All right. Number 2, the second part is which one of these players has the best chance at finishing the top spot?
Listen, I gotta say, I really don't have bias here on this one, but I'm gonna go with Saquon Barkley. I'm leaving him at the number 1. I spoke about it earlier, Katie. He is truly, our offense right now. So, and I think he's doing a great job. And if he's gonna run it like he does and keep the position that he is, I think people might try to claw at his neck at that one spot. But if he keeps cruising like he is right now, I think we're good.
I'm going Nick Chubb. He finished second in last season behind Jonathan Taylor, who just ran away with it. Yes, go Saquon. But I'm going Nick Chubb. And for those of you who are a little bit concerned as far as, okay, but he splits carries with Kareem Hunt, and they've got Kareem Hunt, and what does that take away from him? Nick Chubb is playing with Kareem Hunt, and he still has had the 3rd most rush attempts in the league so far. So don't worry about Kareem Hunt being there. Nick Chubb is the man. He's the guy. And he is had a great start to this season. I could see him finishing in the top spot.
Well, Kareem Hunt is doing, I said this on the last episode, he's doing his best job at that RB2. He really is lighting it up in that position. He could clearly, with the numbers he's putting up, could clearly be someone's RB1. So, but I think you're correct with telling people that you don't really have to worry about that. So,
All right. And then who is not in this top 5 that you could see being there at the end of the year?
I'm wilding out on this one, Katie, and I think you said it last week. It could potentially happen. I'm going with Lamar Jackson on this one.
Okay.
It's honestly the proof.
It could be.
It's written in this. I'm going to use every cliche thing. It's written in the stars. The proof is in the pudding. It's all there. Everything's lining up. When you had said this last week, I was like, you know what? He could potentially end up in, this top here, and I'm liking what I'm seeing. So I'm going to, F it. He's going in my top 5 here. So
I love it. Okay, I am going with Indy's Jonathan Taylor, and that is even with the news of him missing this week. I do expect him to play in the following week, even with missing a game, which, listen, these guys in the top 5, they can also miss games along the way. It's very hard for people. Adding that extra regular season game, it's hard for everybody to play 17 regular season games. So, Jonathan Taylor is going to miss this one, but it is hard for me to imagine that the top rusher from last season is not going to be in the top 5 this year. He does sit in 6th place right now, so it's not like that's, an outlandish thought either. He is right there. I think he will be in the top 5 by the end of the year. All right, let's look at the wide receivers, or hey, you can throw tight ends in here as well. We've got receiving yards. Our receiving yard leaders right now at the 1 spot is Miami's Tyreek Hill. 2 is Buffalo's Stephon Diggs. 3 is Philly's A.J. Brown. 4 is the Rams' Cooper Kupp. And 5 is Minnesota's Justin Jefferson. I will say this top 5 is like, there's no outliers here. It's kind of like this is what you would expect to see in your top 5. So that being said, if you do have to boot somebody out, who do you think could potentially not finish in the top 5?
Well, it's interesting that you said, this is the 5 that we were expecting. I wasn't actually expecting to boot this individual out, but I'm going to, and it kind of pains me. I'm going with Justin Jefferson on this one. I'm really, really hating how Minnesota's not really using him this season. He's clearly in the top 5 here, so he's getting the stats. But I got to tell you, last game, Katie, that London game, I could have gone over half the game not knowing Justin Jefferson played for the Minnesota Vikings. It's really tough to see this season so far. I think the Vikings are talented, but again, they're that shady team that they've been over the past couple of seasons. You have a talent like that, though. It's so hard to not use to its full potential. And I don't think they are. So I think that actually could really hurt him, because there are guys like, we do have people that we're going to put into this top 5 that aren't in there yet, that could potentially, take his spot. So yeah, it really killed me to put him at that one I'm taking out. But yeah,
I mean, it's so funny to like hear the analysis on that, because you look at it and you're like, well, wait, the guy's like 5th in receiving yards. How bad could he be doing? But the ceiling for Justin Jefferson is breaking through that ceiling. So yeah, he's 5th right now, but like we expect Justin Jefferson right now to be doing even more than that. So as crazy as it sounds, it is a little bit of a quiet start to the season for him. I, however, am going to go with Philly's A.J. Brown. I think he's off to a great start, especially because he's with a new team. I know everybody always has concerns with that for any player learning a new offense, gelling with a new quarterback. He's done it seamlessly. But I just like the other 4 players to finish better than him. You've got superstars, right? And he's a superstar himself, but Tyreek Hill, Jeff Diggs, Cooper Kupp, Justin Jefferson. It's hard to picture,
this is the hardest one.
Bumping one of those guys out, so I did have to go AJ Brown on that one. All right. Who do we think is going to finish in the top spot?
Here's where we differ, Katie, because I put AJ Brown in the top spot. What you said is my reason, having someone, seamlessly, gel into a brand new team with a new quarterback. I love his connection with Jalen Hurts. You would think they played with each other for 20 years. It's there and it's relevant. And it's honestly, I absolutely love it. And I think that we're going to see more of it. And I know I say I love it, but like, I don't really love it. We're going to see more of it, and it like kind of kills me. Like I don't want to, but yeah, you can see it, and it's really good. So.
Well, you're going to laugh because we went total opposites then. I'm going with Justin Jefferson. Listen, he was my preseason pick to finish as the receiving yards leader, and I got to stick with that. And I think a quiet start for Justin Jefferson only means it should go up from here. And the fact that he get a quiet start and he's still in 5th, he's no joke. And it's actually funny that neither one of us picked Cooper Kupp, because I think those two will battle it out. Those two will duke it out like they kind of did last year. But I have to stick with my preseason pick. I'm going with Justin. And then who, I think this is an interesting one. I think there were a lot of people that you could consider, but who is not in this top 5 that you could see making it at the end of the season?
Well, it's another QB, wide receiver combo that I love. And I'm going to go with Austin Eckler on this one. I love everything that he's
a running back.
Oh, is he really? Why did I put that?
Because he's a really good
I know.
running back, but he's a running back.
No, I know. Oh my God, I know. That's like a huge mess up on my part.
You can still pick him, but
no, I am picking him still, but I just definitely my mistake there. So just call it the wine, call it that I'm leaving for Alabama first thing in the morning and I haven't literally slept in like 3 days. But sorry about that. That's a huge slip up on my part. But no, I actually did pick him for a reason. So okay. I do like everything so far that he's been able to do with Justin Herbert. So yeah, I'll leave it at that to where I embarrass myself to keep speaking.
I am going to go with Denver's Courtland Sutton. And he is in 7th place right now as far as receiving yards go. But he's not even like, I don't even look at Courtland Sutton and think of him as necessarily a top 10 wide receiver in the league. He is very good. But it's just the fact that Russell Wilson freaking loves him. And I bitch about this all the time because I have Jerry Jeudy on both of my fantasy teams. And I'm like, pass him the ball. You're only passing Courtland. But he loves Courtland, and obviously it's paying off. He's 7th right now in receiving yards. Javonte Williams is out for the rest of the season. Yes, they have Melvin Gordon, but their run game is going to suffer a little bit from that. They're gonna have to win these games through the air, and Courtland Sutton is the guy for Russell. So I think he can squeak his way into the top 5. All right, let's go to the defensive side of the ball, and let's go with sacks. So right now in first place is San Fran's Nick Bosa. Second is Pittsburgh's Alex Highsmith. Third is the Chargers' Khalil Mack. Actually, I'm sorry, it was tied for third with Chargers' Khalil Mack and Green Bay's Rashawn Gary. And then this is our only category where we're not going to give you 5 because the 5th place is we have 7 players tied for 5th. So we're not going to include that. We're going to dissect these 4 guys and go from there. So who out of these 4 do you see not making it in the top 5?
I think like what this like top 5 will top like more than 5 proves to us is that it's still very early in the season and we're going to see
as far as sacks go.
Yeah, we're still going to see these sack numbers go up. I looked at the list of guys. You've got 7 people tied for 5th. I even look at the tie, and this is what I did. I looked at the tie between Khalil Mack and Rashawn Gary. I'm going to bump Khalil Mack out of it. He's very talented. He's a name that you kind of like wince a little bit when you hear him, but I think of age, I think of speed, and I look at other guys on this list. And again, we have 7 people in that 5 spot that could potentially move in and out. So I just, kind of had to make a, impulse decision here. And I just with that, I went with Khalil Mack.
Okay. I'm going with Pittsburgh's Alex Highsmith. I just think this came down to a veteran presence and also just consistency of Nick Bosa, Khalil Mack, Rashawn Gary. These are names that you're used to seeing at the top of your sack leaderboard. It's nothing against Highsmith. I also think with TJ Watt being out for Pittsburgh, I think in ways that helps other guys, add to their sack totals, but in ways it also hurts them because you do need your other stars around you,
to help.
And you need the other defensive end coming in. If one is an all-star, it's only going to help everybody else, get to the quarterback. So I think not having TJ Watt is gonna hurt the sack total for anybody on Pittsburgh. But let's go ahead and go into who do we think is going to finish in the top spot for sacks.
Yeah, I'm going to go with Nick Bosa on this one. He's so talented. I think, and you think of a guy that is coming off of an injury and you're like, well, how good can you really be after what he's almost better, I feel, honestly. It is really scary what we see. And he's not a guy I want running at me. I must say though, Katie, I wasn't, too close to to not picking Alex Highsmith. I think I agree with your, opinion on having, if TJ Watt's not there, like having those big guys around you, really forcing it forward. Right now, for me, like Pittsburgh, like that, their defense is really what's moving it forward. And their defense has been doing a good job, I feel. And I think for someone like him, he can rack up these sacks, early on enough to get it high up. TJ Watt might come back and maybe, outsmoke everyone on here. Who knows? That might be unhuman like. But I mean, we've seen stranger things, but I don't know. I wasn't, so far away from picking him, but I think Nick Bosa, just with, he's already here. He's got his crew around him. Everything looks good. So that was kind of the easier pick for me.
Okay. I'm going Nick Bosa. I mean, he's certainly going to be a candidate for comeback player of the year, and really fully, and not just catching like the 49ers on NFL Red Zone, but really watching them play that Monday Night Football game and watching their defense against a good Rams offense. The Niners defense is scary. And obviously Nick Bosa is the shining star of that defense. And I think he's just going to continue. I think he's going to have an amazing season. And he's going to be the leader for that San Fran team. So I'm giving it to him. And then who not in this top 5 do you think could finish by year's end?
Again, this was clearly a tough one because 7 people in that 5-person spot. So I'm going to go with someone who wasn't in the 5. I think they weren't, but I could be wrong again. I'm going to go with Von Miller on this one. So another vet in the league, obviously on a new team, but doing good things for Booth right now. So yeah, going to go with Von Miller.
All right. I am going with a guy who's tied for 5th right now. And he was my preseason pick for Defensive Player of the Year. And he had 13 sacks last year. He has 4 right now. And I think he is going to continue to be a powerhouse and going to find himself in the top 5. I'm going with Dallas's Micah Parsons.
Yeah, I thought of him too. But I left all those guys out of the mix. Because they're already in the top 5, technically. So.
Yeah. All right.
I made it harder on myself.
All right, let's go into these final 2 categories. These are team categories. So teams offensively and then teams defensively. So we're looking at team offensive yards per game. Right now, in 1, we have the Detroit Lions. 2 is Philadelphia. 3 is Buffalo. 4 is Cleveland. And 4 is a tie between Cleveland and Kansas City. So those are your 5 teams right there. Who do you think will not finish in the top 5?
It's weird to pull a number 1 team out, but I'm going to pull Detroit out of this list. I think there's other teams for sure that are going to put up more offensive yards. I think Jared Goff has just really, moved the team up the field and what they have to do, maybe launching some balls, getting some, getting the people where he needs to in the end zone. But yeah, I see why they're there right now. But I think as we move throughout the season, it's just it's really like unfeasible, I think, for the Detroit Lions. So.
Okay. I'm going to boot out Cleveland. And it's kind of an interesting thing to say because obviously Deshaun Watson is going to be coming back at some point. And you would think that, okay, like Jacoby Brissett's already got them in the top 5 right now. It should only get better. I think there almost might be like a little bit of a regression. Deshaun Watson has not played in an NFL game in a very long time.
Yep.
And he is playing with a new team, new teammates, everything like that. So they almost might even take a step back when he comes back versus when they have Jacoby Brissett. But also one of the main reasons I'm kicking them out is just because of the division that they play in, the AFC North. They definitely love to have those low-scoring defensive battles, and that is going to, obviously take away from your offensive yards. So that is why I am booting out the Browns. Who do you have finishing the top spot?
I have Buffalo going in the top spot. We've seen the throws, we've seen the runs, we've seen everything from them. So,
all right. I have to go with Philly. They just they've obviously looked really good. So I'm not going to sing their praises anymore. Just I picked Philly.
I picked them. Whatever.
All right.
The green team.
All right. Who is not in the top 5 that you could see finishing by the end of the year?
Miami.
All right. I'm going with the Chargers. Obviously, Justin Herbert is first in passing yards right now. So he usually puts up 300 plus passing yards per game. Add that to, Austin Eckler in the run game. They're going to rack up the yards. So I definitely see them finishing in the top 5. All right, and then last one, let's go into the defensive side of the ball with team defensive yards allowed per game. In first place, we have Buffalo. Second, we have the 49ers. 3, we have Philly. We have Philly on. This is what an undefeated team looks like, people, when you're top 5 offense and defense. So 3, we have Philly. 4, we have Denver. And 5, we have Green Bay. Kate, who are you kicking out by the end of the year?
Yeah, I mean, just looking at these people, these teams, I'm going to bump Green Bay out. I think defensively, they don't really do it for me. Obviously, they're in the top 5. I get it. But I look at everyone else, and there's even, spoiler here, my who could come in. I actually have a 2-fer. So for me, that was kind of easy to bump Green Bay out on this one.
Okay. I'm going to bump out Denver.
Yeah.
And that, again, like some of these answers for these last 2 categories is really just diving into the division they play in.
Right.
And they'll have 6 division games against really high-powered offenses in Kansas City, the Chargers, and Las Vegas. So it's going to be hard to keep that yard total down defensively when you're playing against offenses like that. All right, who do you think will finish in the top spot?
I put Buffalo. They're already there.
Just like Philly, like this is what, a high caliber top team in the NFL looks like. I bumped Denver as well. Thank you very much. Mm-hmm. This is what a top team in the NFL looks like. I'm going with Buffalo as well. Amazing on offense, amazing on defense. And they were the top defensive team from last year, and they will be number 1 again this year. And then finally, who is not in the top 5 that you do see being in the top 5 at the end of the year?
So I initially thought Dallas, because we talk about them all the time, like on paper. You brought up Micah Parsons earlier. Defensively, like I think they're a very talented team. I did want to call out Cleveland too. I do like them from a defensive standpoint, so I didn't want to leave them out. I think if I was leaning more towards one, I'd put Dallas into the mix. But I kind of had a 2-fer for this one. So
okay, I like the 6th place team right now. Mm-hmm. I really like the Indianapolis Colts defense.
Yeah, no, it's a good one.
This was another one where I'm examining the division that they play in.
Right.
And they play in a division where the teams don't really have great offenses. They'll be playing 6 games in the division. They've got Jacksonville, Houston, and Tennessee. So I think that's going to help their numbers. Mm-hmm. I think Indy overall, I view them as a top 5 defense anyways. And I just think statistically at the end of the year, they will be in there.
Yeah. No.
All right. Great little game right there. Definitely interesting. I love looking at these and then looking at it at the end of the year. Who ends up, there's always shifting with that one. So
with how this,
we've got a long way to go. We're going to see a lot of different names pop in and out. So should be
with how this season's going. These are going to be completely different at the end of the season. All right. Is that time of the episode where we get it off our chest? Positive, negative, football, housewives, wine, life, fall, spooky season, anything that you want to let our audience know. Katie, you go ahead and get us started.
Yeah, I know that some other people have mentioned this as well. I think I heard it on Get Up. I know Rex Ryan was saying it. Just taking notice of the fact that through 1 month of football and this swap with Russell Wilson going to Denver and Geno Smith going to Seattle, Geno Smith has played significantly better than Russell Wilson through the first month.
Yes.
And it's crazy to freaking say that. Not only did Geno Smith and the Seahawks beat Russell Wilson in Denver, but statistically, Geno Smith has a 77% completion percentage right now. That's insane.
Right.
Just for reference, that's first in the NFL, by the way. Second is 70%, Matthew Stafford. Geno is 77%. Geno Smith is the truth. He has been through 1 month of football. He is 10th place right now for passing yards per game. He's got 6 touchdowns compared to just 2 interceptions. So, not turning the ball over, that's always important too. And then just for comparison, Geno at 77% completion. Russell Wilson is at 61%. That's god awful, and especially bad for a high caliber quarterback like Russell Wilson. He's 16th in passing yards per game right now. He has only 4 touchdowns through 4 games. And then he only has 1 interception. Obviously, that's good. But it was very interesting today that on NFL.com, and they do this every week, they do their quarterback rankings week by week. Geno Smith is number 9 on that power ranking list right now.
All right, Geno
is 14. And I can really appreciate whoever did the article for NFL.com, not looking at the grand scope, not looking at the career, not looking at whatever other than this first month of football. Geno Smith, you deserve it. You deserve to be considered a top 10 quarterback right now. I can't even believe that I'm saying this and the words are coming out of my mouth. And this is the reality that we're living in. But hats off to you and really not listening to the outside noise and just like putting your head down, going to work and getting what I thought was going to be like one of the worst teams in the league. Managing so far. They're managing.
Yeah.
So hats off to him. And Russell Wilson, I'm going to say that you've been one of the biggest disappointments of the season so far. So you got to get it together, boy. I'm a Russell fan, but I got to call him out on his shit. So.
Yeah. Much like many people have, but like you had said, Katie, many people have been calling out Geno as well and giving him the praise that he deserves. So maybe he has finally been around quite a long time. Maybe he's finally found his home in Seattle and doing what he's doing right now with the Seahawks. But yeah, it's a lot to unpack, but people really need to kind of look at the numbers and and definitely see. Yep. Alrighty, so mine is that. Obviously, if you cannot tell, I am decked out in Alabama gear right now. And I must say, Katie, you have funded this entire Alabama outfit.
I'm just realizing that now.
Thank you very much. Great presents, obviously. I mean, my hat, this has been my favorite hat for like 10 years now. I think I love it so much. I am leaving tomorrow morning bright and early. I'm on my way to Tuscaloosa, Alabama. I am finally living the dream and going. I've been on my bucket list for, I don't know, forever. I'm finally going to an Alabama football game. I am so freaking excited. It's going to be an interesting journey, flying to Atlanta and then driving from Atlanta to Tuscaloosa. So I'll have a fun.
How long is that drive?
It's like 2-3 hours. So it's not, I got to tell you, this was the best option for us as it saved us about like $600-$700 in airfare. So getting to Tuscaloosa via like plane is almost impossible because you have to fly to Birmingham. Like flying to Birmingham is almost impossible because you're doing layovers, you're doing this. Airfare right now is very expensive, and it's even like stripping away it being expensive just right now. Though getting to Birmingham is expensive regardless. So you're tacking on like hundreds of dollars. So this was the cheapest way. And it'll be fun, driving. I've never, I've been to Atlanta before, but like driving from Atlanta over to Alabama, clearly I've never driven those roads before. So it should be an interesting trip. But yeah, I'm so excited. The game is on Saturday. They are playing Texas A&M. This will be a huge game. That was Alabama's, one of their losses last year. They did lose to Georgia in the championship. It was their main season, regular season loss last year. There was obviously some drama llama between, both head coaches in the off season. So it's going to be a big game. It is a primetime game. It is the 8 p.m. Eastern slot, 7 p.m. My time, and I'm in Alabama. They didn't get game day though. I'm a little upset about that. There was that rumor had been going around for a really long time time that game day was going to be there. Yeah. I was going to get my ass to game day at like 4 a.m. and be like, yeah, even though I knew it was going to be the 8 p.m. game regardless, but I was going to get to game day at like 4 a.m. and just be like on screen and then go nap for like 10 hours, get back out to the game. So yeah, I'm just really excited. You know, it was probably the easiest trip to pack for because I just put every Alabama shirt I own into my suitcase with just leggings and jeans. So easiest trip ever. So I got to, once we're done with the show, I got to take all of this off and throw it in the suitcase. I'm probably wearing my hat on the plane tomorrow. So I'll have to, that's not going in the suitcase, but the jersey, everything. Katie, you funded another shirt that's going in. It's going to be a little hot there though. So I do want to wear that long sleeve for sure, but we'll see. It might be a nighttime outfit for me, but I am just so excited. You know, getting to Alabama is not easy. It's not cheap. So I'm really, really grateful that I'm finally able to do it. And listen, if it's the only time that I do it in my life, that's totally fine. So I'm finally doing it, and I'm just really, really excited. So, and I'll be, you guys just check my social media all weekend. All weekend. So maybe
I might have to watch college football on Saturday. I guess I'll definitely flip it on here and there. Why not?
We have good seats. We're right behind Alabama's sideline. We're like, I think like 30 rows up, not even. Maybe we're in the 20. We're right. So like you might see us.
All right. I'll have to look out for you. Yeah. I wish you safe travels and a great trip. And, you know, thank you guys so much for joining us tonight on the Real Football Fans from New Jersey. We will see you next week on Wednesday, as always. But things you do not want to miss for the rest of the week. We have Real Housewives of Beverly Hills that is on tonight. It started at 8 p.m. Catch it on demand. Real Housewives of Salt Lake City is coming on tonight at 9 p.m. So we still have you guys in time for that. Mm-hmm. NFL Week 5, Thursday Night Football. We're going to have Indy at Denver. Sunday Night Football is going to be a big one. That's the Bengals at Baltimore. And Monday Night Football, another division game. We've got Las Vegas at Kansas City. College football, obviously, besides Alabama and Texas A&M. Woo! We have number 8 Tennessee versus number 25 LSU. Number 17 TCU versus number 19 Kansas. And
they got game day, those bastards.
And number 11 Utah versus number 18 UCLA. So you guys have a great rest of your week. Enjoy football this weekend. Enjoy Housewives this week. And we will catch you next time. See you next Wednesday.
All right. Good night. See you next